Am I the a-hole for laughing at my sister? This happened back in December, but I'm still getting crap for it, so now I'm asking here. My 23 male sister, 24 female, has been dating this guy, 24, for about 10 months, and she shouldn't be. She's constantly testing him to see if he'll cheat or lie, and no matter how many times he passes her tests and says that he, rightfully, doesn't like the tests, she'll still say she can't trust him but also won't break up with him. Our family have told her to stop the tests, and so have some of her friends, but her logic is that if he loves her, then he'll know that she needs to be able to trust him. He went out with some friends and mentioned it so she'd know he wouldn't respond for a while, and my sister, who knew some people who were going to the same bar that night, found many options, told a girl she's kind of friends with that he was single and interested in hooking up to test him. Again. Boyfriend apparently gets hit on, realizing it's a test again, leaves the bar, calls her, and asks if it's a test. And when my sister tells him that it is, he dumps her and says he's either going to hook up with a woman who flirted with him if she's still up for it, or find someone else to hook up with since he can't handle my sister's crazy anymore. My sister is very upset and he hangs up on her. So she goes to our family in the main room, mom, dad, me, to tell us what happens, and says that he cheated and now the relationship is over. We're all obviously upset for her, and then we get the actual story out of her, not just laughed in her face because she lied. She caused a breakup, and it was what everyone warned her would happen if she kept testing him. I was called every name under the sun by my sister, and our parents said that even though she was in the wrong, that I should have been sensitive to how she was feeling and kept my thoughts private. And because I didn't, I'm an a-hole. Am I? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Play a stupid game, win a stupid prize. And quite frankly, testing your partner's loyalty is pretty stupid in my opinion. You either trust them or don't. Yep, I honestly don't know what she was expecting doing that. How in the world she thought he'd just be okay with that over and over again. Some people can just be unbelievably dense. Oh yeah, no surprise there. The sheer volume of stupid is thick here. And yeah, it probably stems from an overwhelming lack of self-esteem. But geez. When everyone, from boyfriend to your mom, says stop doing this is gonna dump you and you continue, it's your own damn fault. I honestly don't know what she was expecting doing that. To break his spirit slowly over time and get away with more and more in the future until he is a shell of a man. And she can do what she wants whilst he pays for everything because he genuinely believes he will never do better than her. Psychological mistreatment is a very real form of domestic abuse. Not a-hole. Your sister is an idiot who lacks the maturity necessary to be in a relationship. Would it have been kinder to keep your thoughts to yourself? Maybe. But holy hell, this chick had it coming. But even though it would have been kinder, she wouldn't have learned her lesson. She would continue the testing game with the next Joe that comes knocking. Sometimes you gotta be harsh for people to face reality. Like you said, she had it coming. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for getting married before my sister after she announced her wedding first? I really feel bad and don't know if I'm the a-hole and how I could make everybody happy. So, my 25 female sister, 27 female, and I were as children always very competitive in sports/grades. But as I got older, I didn't want that anymore. So I changed to a different sport and studied something completely different than her. She then started to get competitive with our personal life. And she was always very passive-aggressive about me having a boyfriend first. Later, I moved together with my boyfriend and she made mean comments about it all the time. After a while, she found her perfect match and things got easier. I knew that she wanted to get married first and be the first one to have children. And it didn't bother me at all because I'm in no hurry. Last Christmas, she announced that she was getting married in 2023, and I was really happy for her. Then at the beginning of this month, my boyfriend, 26, and I got a call from his younger brother, 24. He was informed from his doctor that he has a very aggressive disease. We couldn't believe it, and went to his home to be there for him. My boyfriend was his best man for his brother's wedding. Their dad died when they were little, and they were very close. It meant a lot to him. Last week, my boyfriend asked me if I would marry him. He said that he could understand if it's not that romantic, but he said he wanted to marry while his brother is here, and to have him as his best man. I never cared about an expensive wedding with a lot of people. I'd always wanted to have a nice day with the most important persons in our life. So I could totally get that. I agreed because I love him, and I also know how happy it would make his little brother. But I immediately knew that this would cause stress with my sister. I called her, she knows that my boyfriend's brother is very sick, and told her about the proposal and that it will be only a small wedding this year, with her, my parents/grandparents, and some friends, so she could still have this big wedding first. She got mad and called me jealous, and that I'm using a dying person to get married first. I know that she was overreacting, but I also feel bad because she announced it first, and it means so much to her and I don't want to ruin her moment. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You're doing something very sweet for your soon-to-be husband. Your sister needs to grow up and realize that not everything in life is a competition. Thank you, but I don't really know how to stop this competition game. I don't know what to say or do. You don't. You just live your life. Your sister needs to grow up. If she makes passive-aggressive comments, just ignore them and change the subject. Yep, this is the one. OP, if you just do what makes you happy and don't worry about her, you'll be happier than her in the long run. Weddings aren't about competition. They're about people who are in love joining together and inviting the people they love to be there. Your future husband deserves a chance to have his brother there for that. Someday your sister may grow up and understand that life isn't about her winning all the time. But if she doesn't, that's not your problem. She announced it first, but the engagement is longer than a full calendar year. Not even taking the young man's mortality into account, it's an a-hole move to just expect that his sister should put her life on hold because someone called dibs on getting married first. If it's any consolation, she'll probably beat you to divorce court. She can beat the OP for the number of weddings and husbands too. But first, she needs to be the first who gets a divorce. Not stay home. Shut your sister down hard if she ever dares to say something like that to you again. What an awful thing to think, let alone say. She should be ashamed of herself. Your sister owes you a big apology. Right? Let's be real. She probably accused OP of using a dying person as an excuse to do something first, because it's something she would do if she had a chance. So she thinks OP's doing what she would have done. Which doesn't exactly make her that great of a person. Next story. Am I the a-hole for bursting out laughing when my sister-in-law asked to live with us? For the sake of not writing a huge post, I'll just say my sister-in-law have a very tense relationship. She's a very hateful, mean person, constantly takes digs at my weight, tells anyone who will listen that I'm lazy and fat, a bad parent and not good enough for her brother. I let it roll off my shoulders for the most part because, frankly, her opinion of me is pretty much irrelevant. And I have my own opinions on her, but keep it to myself. Not saying anything if I don't have anything nice to say and all that. This weekend, when we were over at his parents' house where she also lives, she sat us down and said she wanted to change from living with her parents, where rent is free and endless childcare is provided by my mother-in-law, and started thinking it might be a good idea to move in with us. I couldn't help it. I immediately started laughing. The entitlement and audacity honestly took me off guard, given the fact that my mutual distaste for her is not a secret, even if I stay cordial to keep the peace. Everyone looked at me in shock, and since the damage was already done, I said, "That's not happening, and you know that." Since she's the person she is, she immediately started her verbal attack, pointing out all of my flaws and classy things like that. Why not behave that way in front of the kids? I gathered up my kids without another word and waited in the car for my husband. I could tell he was kind of mad, and he later told me I should have just let him handle it because he would have obviously said no as well. I would be lying if I said I had regrets. The only thing I wish hadn't happened is exposing the kids to that behavior. I don't know though. Maybe that was an a-hole response, so I'm here to ask. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. God, it was so satisfying to read about somebody reacting like that to a bully. It wasn't the most diplomatic response, but I think it was a long time coming. So satisfying. OP, I want to kiss you on your fat, lazy guts. Your spineless husband, who repeatedly allows his aggressive sister to insult you, that too in front of your children, Is angry because you laughed? So basically, his approach is that his sister is constant demeaning. Insult, personal attacks are okay, but for his wife to laugh in self-defense is infuriating? You might need to stop being nice and take a much sterner stance on disrespect with your husband. Agreed. Sister-in-law shouldn't have so many opportunities to be insulting if husband were doing his part properly. This, not stay home. Might be time to discuss respect with your husband. Good for you, standing up for yourself. Never feel like you are the a-hole for demanding the same respect you give others. I don't know about where you live, but where I live, mistreating someone, especially a parent, in front of children is considered a form of child abuse. Your husband should be standing by you in this. Your reaction wasn't that bad. You didn't react physically when mistreated in front of your children, and I know plenty of people that would have. Good luck in helping your husband realize where his loyalties should lie. Not stay home. Obviously, sister-in-law is, but your husband freaking sucks too. Why is he bringing his wife and kids around this person? If my sister spoke to my spouse like that, even once, she'd be right out of my life. You're not the only one who exposed your kids to that behavior. He did. And frankly, given that he is spineless enough to allow the situation to continue, I wouldn't have trusted him to shut the situation. Not only should you have felt free to speak up, you need to be questioning him about why he's bringing you around his toxic family and allowing this behavior to continue. If there are other posts or anything to go by, the husband is just like his sister in regards to his wife. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole because I charged my son for tickets I got for free? First, the setup. I'm a single mom to 3 boys, 18, 13, and 12. My oldest graduated last year and is currently living at home for free, while he goes to school and works so he can save. Next, the problem. Sometimes for work. I get perks for doing well or just because. The other day, I won tickets to an event that I was on the fence about going to. So I was planning on selling to a coworker who said he'd buy them if I decided not to go. I was leaning towards that option because the extra money would be nice to have a little more to play with in the family fun account. Anyway, before I could sell the tickets, my oldest son saw them and asked me for them so he and his girlfriend could go. I told him a guy from work offered to buy them, but if he wanted them, he could buy them for me instead. My son told me he didn't have the money in his budget for them, but he really wants to go, and if I could just give them to him. I said no, that this is a part of being adult, sometimes you just can't afford things. He pleaded some more and I felt bad, so I said he could buy the tickets by watching his brothers while I went on an overnight with my sister. I don't like leaving the youngest two by themselves overnight, but I'll even throw a $50 gift card so they could get something to eat before. He agreed right away, and I gave him the tickets. I thought it would be a win-win-win. My son goes to the event and they have a great time. When the weekend of my overnight comes, I get snacks and leave pizza money with a note to everyone, one with all the info we discussed along with the name of the hotel. Then I leave before the boys get home from school. I'm at the hotel having a good time when I get a call from my 13-year-old telling me they don't have enough money to order the pizza they want because their older brother took his share of the pizza money to go have dinner with his girlfriend. I give the two my credit card number, hang up and call their brother who doesn't answer. After repeated and answered calls, I get nervous. It made my sister check out and take a cab to my house because we had both been drinking. We end up watching movies and having pizza with the boys all while trying to get a hold of my son. At 1 a.m., he and his girlfriend come home but it's already late, so they go to his room to sleep. Next morning, I'm pissed, so I go to talk to him with a bill to pay me back for the tickets, the gift card, the hotel, the pizza money, and the cab. I also added an inconvenience fee. He said that wasn't fair because I got the tickets and a gift card for free, and I didn't have to come home because he did come home to watch the boys, so they wouldn't have been alone. I told him that wasn't the agreement, and the bill still stands. Am I the a-hole because I did charge him for something I did technically get for free? Not the a-hole. You guys made an agreement on payment and he failed to do it. You said a gift card was for pizza for them to eat, not so he could take his girlfriend out. And you're right, this is part of being an adult. If he couldn't afford it and he didn't want to watch his brothers, then he shouldn't have taken the tickets. You're already doing more than enough letting him live there for free. No, the gift card was for him to use. I left pizza money and he took a portion of that to use for himself. That's so selfish. Wow. Further to this, something I don't see a lot of people pointing out is that OP effectively earned those tickets as a perk for their hard/good work, which then the son disrespected and felt entitled to. Nobody's entitled to anybody else's rewards for hard/good work. Punishment fits the crime and not the a-hole. Plus, he knew why OP was calling and clearly chose to ignore them. Or he needs to be asked what if there was an emergency with the 2 minors left unattended and a phone call was important. Okay, so I was totally going to call you an a-hole until I read a part about him earning the tickets, then going out instead of watching his siblings. Not the a-hole. He reneged on the deal and didn't come home until 1 a.m. Even worse, he took part of the pizza money instead of just using the $50 gift card already given to him. Not the a-hole. I would say a slight a-hole if you straight up charged him. But you were very generous to let him pay you by way of babysitting, and he completely disrespected your agreement. Charging him as punishment was totally reasonable. The son is 18 and living rent-free at home. He was in no way entitled to those tickets. Selling them to a coworker or son would in no way be an a-hole move. Not even a slight a-hole. Although I personally think the compromise with tickets for babysitting was genius.